Now, let us realize your power as a teacher. Do you know that how powerful you are as a teacher? See, look at the picture. What does it reflect? It is a small sapling, right? The seeds become a sapling and then it is honed by the teacher. And then, with the help of the teacher, with the help of that shaping of their character and all, become strong trees. They become stalwarts. It is true that the students are not realizing your contribution, but when they'll become something, when they'll join an organization, and even in later years of their career, you'll find them speaking that, you know, one of my sir or one of my ma'am had told me this, and that was very true. So they'll acknowledge your contribution. Don't worry about that. Teachers are there to contribute. Teachers are there to shape the personalities. And through these personalities, we are also shaping the nation. Please understand this. Don't look for the acknowledgement, immediate acknowledgement. You'll get your part, you'll get your acknowledgement. Not only your acknowledgement as well, your contribution, everything will be acknowledged by the students consciously or subconsciously. Consciously, that see how your contribution is noblest. We, as a teacher, are somebody who are contributing building this nation. We get people, we get students who are very crude, who are very raw. Now, the impetus is on us to shape their psyche, to shape their character, to shape them as a personality. So we started giving them shape through different means. So we are designing them. And then later on, they could become Einstein or they could become, Abdul Kalam, or they could become Sachin Tendulkar, or they could become any. And you see, right from uh, the earlier time, from Guru Vasisht to Guru Dron to today's Achrikar sir and all. So all those examples are there where it is true that I don't know whether you will get the consideration in form of money or not, but definitely you'll get consideration in form of satisfaction. When you see your student perform, nothing is more divine. When you see your student as successful, when you see your students stopping somewhere and coming to you and touching your feet or appreciating your contribution or sharing their thoughts about you, that satisfaction is something which none of other professions have. Even if you are an IAS, the moment you retire from your post, nobody pays a heed that who you were or who you are. Even a the president of a country, when he is not on his seat, his country, when he is done with his tenure, if he is a very good person, then only people remember him. Otherwise, that all those past and all those all those things are gone. But as a teacher, when you retire, you have so many followers, you have so many students, you have contributed to so many lives, and not only to those who are in direct contact with you, but to their families also. So that's where you have contributed, and that contribution is something phenomenal. And as I told you, that they will acknowledge your contribution. It is not essential that they will do it right now or they do it immediately, but they will sooner or later realize your importance. They'll realize that how you have contributed in shaping them. So don't worry about that. You are in the noblest profession. You are in the profession of giving. You are in the profession of shaping individuals. You are in the profession of creating this nation, right? and you are somebody who knows all the answers. Why I have kept this slide? Because let me tell you one thing. If you are also finding that students are not paying heed to you, this could be the reason, because they expect that you know everything, and you have to come to that level where you know everything, all those why, all those whens, all those whats, all those where, all those who's about your subject. As a teacher, you are the expert. You are the expert who have a great patience. When you are teaching a small kid and he is asking the same question, A for apple, for so many times, you are somebody with a huge patience. When you are teaching a kid of class third and fourth, you are somebody who is putting all your efforts in making them learn a few things, and the next very day he forgets everything. So you have that patience. You are somebody who have the logic also. If you are teaching at the higher level where students are more prudent, you are satisfying them with your logic, with the logic behind everything. So you are also developing their intuition. You are the one who know all the answers. You are the one who's having great patience. You are the one to whom they always look for all the answers. So this is how you are serving them, and this is why people who people categorize you as different kind of teachers. Let me tell you about those categories also. See, I'm not talking about bad teachers. We won't talk about that because I don't consider a teacher as a bad teacher, but there are teachers who are good teachers, and there are teachers who are popular teachers. I hope everybody will agree with me in on these lines, that there are a few teachers who are very good at academics, who are very good, but there are few teachers who are very popular teachers. And it is not necessary that a good teacher is a popular teacher also, and it is not necessary that a popular teacher is a very good teacher also. So this is where we have to work in this new normal thing. In this time, at this time, if we are a good teacher and not a popular one, there are chances that students will miss our classes. And if we are popular teachers but we are not a good teacher, there are chances that we are wasting those 40 minutes of monologue. Why I am using this term monologue? Because only you are speaking. In most of the cases I had realized that teachers, they have this tendency. Few teachers, I'm not talking about you, few teachers, they have this tendency where they are expressing all the knowledge which they had. They are like not giving a chance to the student to ask, please understand, please empathize with the student, think as if you are listening. So that one way communication should be avoided. And even if you are so popular and you are not delivering the expected knowledge, people are not going to come to your class. So here also, this particular time is giving you an opportunity where you have to strike a balance, where if you are a good teacher, you'll become a popular teacher, and if you're a popular teacher, you have to become a good teacher also. So that will strike a balance between the both. Now, how to become a good teacher? Through your content. You have to prepare your content really well, because you understand that the students, they expect all the answers from your side. So you should know not only the topic which you are teaching currently, but should know everything, all the whereabouts, all those developments, and all those unrelated developments also. That is going to shape your image, your position in the eyes of your students. So if you are a good teacher, provide them with interesting content. Provide them with a content through which they can through which they can connect. Something, just exhibiting your knowledge, your skills. See, you are at a different level, the students are at a different level. You have to come to their level first, show them your hand, let them hold your hand, and then you have to, bring those students up. This is how you have to approach this situation. The content is the king. It will attract the students. Now, how? After the content is still, there are few teachers who have the content, but they don't have students, or like people are missing their classes. Why? Because there might be some problem with the delivery aspect. Delivery is something really essential. Understand one thing, that the student is at the other end is listening to you, and whatever you are showing in your screen, many a times I have seen people having so much text on their presentation. Few of them are sharing PDFs. The mobile screen, look at the size of the mobile screen. How can somebody be able to read? You are reading it through a paper, you are reading it, that paper is in your hand, and you know everything what is written. And somebody who is completely unaware about the things, and who is not interested also, and who is at the other end, and you are sharing a small screen, how that guy is going to read that? Do you think that student will put that much of effort? So try to have your content very concise. If you are making a presentation, in a slide, use 6 lines. 6 by 6 rule you can take, like 6 words in a line and 6 lines at the most in a slide. And then since you are not sharing the text, you get an opportunity to speak, and they also have to listen to what you are speaking, because now they have to get all those answers, that what this text is all about. So they have to pay attention towards what you are saying. So have 6 by 6 slides, share those PDFs, share those notes on the groups. I am not saying that you are doing it, but I am saying that most of us are doing it. So avoid that. Avoid those cluttered text in presentations or sharing PDFs or Word files on a screen. Use presentations. थोड़ी सी मेहनत कर लीजिए, please. Yes, that's what the student thinks. If you are sharing a presentation, he will be very happy. He will understand more, and he will pay attention to you also. And now, after sharing the presentation, after taking the class, you can share the notes through a PDF or Word file. And then you should also keep a query session, a session where you will solve their problems.